For people that may not know your story, producer, connected with some of the biggest names in music, part of a new generation of MCs and everything, and then have a brush with the law, and it derails all the vision that you had and everything you want to do, and then recently released from prison because of those charges.
Yep, absolutely. When I came up, you know, I came up from listening to the Chronic and Doggy Style.
Right.
That's when I first started smoking weed. I'm like, oh, I gotta try this shit. So I rode my bike
Doggy
a few
Style?
miles and the Chronic, you know, the weed leaves, I went and got a nickel bag, and back then it was brown and had seeds in it.
I know,
and
that's
so
what-
we were smoking it, and you know, I was like, man, I love this shit, and now I wanna be in music. And so I worked really hard, you know, and came out to LA and just started meeting people, started bumping into the Dog Pound, the Outlaws, became best friends with Napoleon and Daz and them. And so, you know, it was just a crazy, crazy ride. And then, you know, after I, you know, get to the height where I got my own label, got a deal, produced a whole album with Snoop, and then the feds come knocking at my door, you know what I mean? And over literally a few $100s worth of weed. And now I'm facing 20 counts. I have 100 years of mandatory minimums at trial.
And you have never been in any trouble before that?
No, I had a juvenile gun charge, but it was expunged. So I was a first offender
That's
for the
ordinary.
purpose of this case, yeah.
Right.
And so, you know, when I went to trial, you know, they had an informant, and it was literally a few bags of weed, and they started throwing up hip hop clothes, like telling the jury, look at this gang stuff.
Oh, they blaming you for everything?
Yeah, and then they rap Mac Dre lyrics from an album we produced.
In the court?
Yeah, the prosecutor was like, shaking the Fed, making the bread, I'm undercover. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yo, don't say that, son.
Yeah, and the
For real?
prosecutor.
No, they was just reading. They wasn't trying to get
Oh,
the
he
beat.
was rapping,
Yo,
but he was reading, but he was trying to rap it. And I'm like, what the
Wait
fuck?
a minute, son. Wait a minute. I understand prosecutors were like reading it. You say he was rapping it?
Absolutely, he was rapping
Did he clear
it.
his throat? Did he clear his throat?
Yeah, he did. He did it.
Oh, shit.
So he was like, after he rapped the Mac Dre lyric, he looked at the jury and said, this is what this case is all about. And I'm like,
Nigga.
I didn't write those lyrics. You know, we produced the album. And so
That's a motherfucking TV show.
yeah, and they were putting up like pictures with vests on with rappers throwing up West Side. They're like, look, he's part of the Bay Area Crips. And back then they're like, Bay Area Crips? What the
So
fuck is
you
that?
was just, they wanted to make an example.